Only 4 to shoot. Puts it on the deck. Step through, move. Gets it to go.
Good evening and welcome to another installment of the New York Minute Sports Show. The New York Knicks just beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in a statement victory. They just put the rest of the Eastern Conference on notice, and the Mike Brown-led New York Knicks are 1-0. We've got highlights. We got Mike Brown's postgame press conference. It's New York Minute Sports. It's New York Sports for New York Nuts. And don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's go!
It's New York Minute Sports.
Porty took it away from Tyson, and a cutting Towns with the reverse jam.
The New York Knicks handled the Cavaliers, and if it wasn't for the Twilight Zone that was the third quarter, the New York Knicks would have blown the doors off one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference last year, and they didn't even have their whole team tonight. And that was the big story, walking into MSG on the train, hearing people talk about the New York Knicks and talking about who wasn't going to be in the game. That was Hart, that was Mitchell Robinson, and Cat was questionable. But aren't we all? That was the problem. I thought it might have been some load management bullshit from Leon Rose and Mike Brown, and I was like, you know what? We're already getting off on the wrong foot here, and I can't stand load management. But you know what? Injuries are injuries, but the greatest part about this was that I forgot how loaded Leon Rose made the New York Knicks in the offseason, and that this bench can handle two of their guys being out of the lineup. Listen, the New York Knicks know how to live life without Mitchell Robinson. I think that this franchise has resigned themselves to the fact that they're only going to get 50 games out of Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson might be the Giancarlo Stanton, okay, of the New York Knicks. Great, does nothing during the regular season, always hurt, and then comes up huge during the postseason. Last year was Mitchell Robinson's defense, which was lights out. The New York Knicks lose Mitchell Robinson in the lineup, but guess what? Their G League secret weapon showed up, Huk-Porty. And I'm sorry, I'll get the name right. I'm still trying to learn your name, bro. But number 55, athletic, 7 foot, 255. We literally got him out of our G League, and he stepped up tonight and played a great defensive game and clogged up the lane. I think the New York Knicks, right? This is the second center that they've developed out of their G League. The first one was Hartenstein, who just won a ring last year and was the one that got away for the New York Knicks because they couldn't sign him. They could only give him $14 million last year, and he wound up getting $30 million from OKC. So it looks like Leon Rose, the New York Knicks, are getting great at developing their big men, which is a complete, huge plus for the New York Knicks. Now it's becoming plug and play. Now, what was the big difference that we saw tonight in the Garden with Mike Brown as opposed to Tom Thibodeau's New York Knicks? Now, Mike Brown's Knicks, from a 10,000-foot view, they looked more comfortable. They looked more confident. And the ball movement was so much better. There was less isolation. There was less guys standing around doing nothing. I could remember at times I would sit around and see the Tom Thibodeau-led New York Knicks and count how many guys weren't even moving, and watching Jalen Brunson literally balance the basketball on his nose to go to the bucket. So now, another thing that I saw that was a big difference under the Mike Brown-led New York Knicks was OG. Now, I have sat here, and I am an OG fanboy, okay? And I have a biased opinion. This guy is the same size and has the same frame, the same skill set as LeBron James. Yeah, I said it. He's not probably going to be LeBron James. Few guys are. But if you look at him from an outside perspective, he reminds me of a Luel Deng with an upside. And tonight, he looked more decisive with the ball. Last year, when he would get the ball, it looked like he was robbing a bank. He'd grab the ball and he'd freeze. I think that was because Tom Thibodeau was in his ear telling him to kick the ball out. So I would used to joke with my friends last year during the regular season, telling people to text OG to tell him that he's an excellent basketball player because he wasn't acting like it. He had a double-double tonight. He was 4 from 6 behind three-point land. He had 24 points. He had 14 rebounds. Dude, this guy looks so much better under Mike Brown and doesn't look like the timid OG that I saw under Tom Thibodeau last year. You know who looked completely different tonight was Bridges. Mikal Bridges looked like that guy. Yeah, the dude that we traded for, that guy that we gave an extension to, that guy that we gave all that draft capital up to. Dude, this guy was all over the court tonight. He looks like a newborn calf with all his length and his lankiness. But man, the agility was there and he was on point. I'll use another Yankee reference for you. He reminds me of Carlos Rodon, the Yankees starting pitcher. The first year was a horror show for him. What happened in the second year? He got used to playing in New York. He got used to the uniform and the laundry, which can be heavy at times. He got used to the pressure. He lived through the slings and arrows, and like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption, he crawled through 3 basketball fields of shit and came clean out the other side, because tonight, he was a low-key MVP tonight. He had one of those games that will not show up on the scores table or in the box score, but he was paying dividends tonight, and that's the guy we were looking for. You know what? He had a very strong finish to the season last year in the playoffs. That defensive prowess showed up, and he was the guy complaining about Tom Thibodeau with playing the New York Knicks with too many points and running them into the ground. And you got to remember, Bridges has led the most points averaged in the NBA the last 3 years. So you know when he was complaining about it, it had to get really bad. Karl Anthony Towns, Mr. Zesty. The dude's questionable. He's half hurt, half as good as he can be, shows up and gets a double-double. Karl Anthony Towns, anytime you want to complain about him, he is one of one. I remember all the way back to when we got rid of Randall and DiVincenzo, and everyone's like, we can't get rid of him. Listen, there is so many more Randalls and DiVincenzos walking around this planet Earth rather than Karl Anthony Towns. Big Zesty's a point guard caught in a 7-footer's body, and now with the emergence of our G League center, Mr. Huk-Porty, okay? I'm going to say Huk-Porty until I get it right. Now with Huk-Porty in the center, now Karl Anthony Towns can play in the 4, his natural spot. I mean, if you asked him, he looks like he plays like Chris Childs and John Starks, but I digress. Now, the ball movement's better. I already said that. We already covered that. Now, the bad part of tonight, the Twilight Zone third quarter, and they still can't defend the three-pointer. I know that the Cleveland Cavaliers are one of the best three-pointing shooting teams in all the NBA, but man, they looked bad again defending the three-pointer. And in a NBA-heavy, NBA-dominant league, that's what you're going to need, is to be able to defend the three. The defense looked good tonight. The defense looked better than last year. Now, with this bench and with all the talent that we've brought on to the New York Knicks, this leads me up to my guilty pleasure, and I like to call it Fresh Legs Brunson, okay? That's my guilty pleasure, Fresh Legs Brunson. Let me explain. Fresh Legs Brunson, Jalen Brunson is a closer, okay? He's like in the movie Glengarry Glen Ross. Coffee's for closers, and Jalen Brunson is brewing up a fresh pot. Because with him having a bench now and Leon Rose putting the pieces around Jalen Brunson, He will not have to put the whole team on his back in crunch time. He will not have to put that physical wear and tear on his body night in and night out because nobody else can do it on this team. If Jalen Brunson doesn't have it and he's hurt, other guys can step up like OG, like Bridges, and like Karl Anthony Towns can step up. It doesn't all have to be up to Jalen Brunson. And now, by fresh legs and closer, you saw what happened tonight. Jalen Brunson came in and iced the game with free throws. That's the guy you want in at the end of the game. And when you have fresh legs, Jalen Brunson, he's going to be able to get you 8 to 9 points in the last 3 minutes of the game, because in the playoffs the last 2 years, in the last 3 minutes of the game, he's been out of gas. I mean, he finished one playoff game on the bench, and everyone was asking Thibs why, because the guy was completely running to the ground. But now with the pieces Leon Rose has put around him, this is what I'm talking about. Less minutes on the legs, less wear and tear, hopefully, knock on wood, less injuries. And that was Tom Thibodeau's biggest knock, was playing guys too much. And we have a new segment here on New York Minute Sports Show, Knicks postgame show. It's called Escape from Thibodeau Island. Okay? And Shamet, McBride, and Kolek all escaped from Tom Thibodeau's island / doghouse. And that's why I think these guys were more relaxed under Brown tonight. Because I think if you made a mistake against Tom Thibodeau, it was your death sentence, and you went right to the doghouse. We saw that with Deuce McBride last year. He started to go cold, and then we didn't see him again. And that was pretty much the only other option. And now McBride's like the fifth option, scoring option on this team. Kolek even looked good. I like his fast twitch. He looks rough and tumble. His three-pointer looked good. His mid-range looked good, but his defense was lacking. We're going to have to work on that. But I am seeing those guys, because last year we only saw the same six faces over and over and over. Now, let's go to the New York Knicks, Mike Brown's postgame show. The first one, folks, the inaugural postgame show. If you've caught my Yankees postgame show, if you caught my Jets postgame show, you know I'm bringing the heat right here on New York Minute Sports, guys. Please don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. The YouTube algorithm loves it, and I'll be here every night with the New York Knicks postgame show. Now, let's go to Mike Brown.
It is. We got a lot of room to grow, and that's what's exciting. You got to give Cleveland credit. We took a double-digit lead going into halftime. We got a lot of room to grow, and that's what's exciting. You got to give Cleveland credit. We took a double-digit lead.
Mike Brown hit the nail right on the head. This team has room to grow, and that's exciting, because this is a Knicks team that hasn't even gelled yet. I bet you in the preseason they don't really even push these guys that hard. And I even said it to my buddy Pat. You see Brunson and Cat trying to get on the same page tonight. And you see them mixing guys in the rotation from the bench, seeing who plays well with each other, seeing who plays well with matching defense off of each other, and the rotations on the zone off. Take it easy.
Going into halftime. And they came out and they hit us in the mouth in the second half. And we gave up 15 fast break points in that third quarter. But our guys, I thought, responded the right way. They did a better.
Yeah, that third quarter, the Cavaliers take the lead for the first time in the game. The Knicks were just steamrolling them the whole time. Donovan Mitchell went off. Okay, he was hitting 3 after 3. I think he even might have scored something like 9 points in 3 minutes when the second half began. He decided just to go off. And by the way, that guy, there is something to be said about watching these dudes in person. And that is a player that is must-see TV. The way that this guy moves in real life, man, it is something to see. And he should have been a Knick Just imagine this. Let's go into the butterfly effect, alternate universe Knicks here. Just think about this. We wanted Mitchell bad, and we would have never gotten Brunson. I wonder how things would have turned out.
Better job as the game went along, especially in that fourth quarter. One of the things that we talked about was last year we thought, watching film from last year, Cleveland did a nice job of scoring in the paint. They averaged right around 58 points a game in the paint against us last year, and our guys.
And the Knicks manhandled them in the paint tonight. Our G League superstar, baby, Huk-Porty. See, I'm already getting better at it. Huk-Porty was all over the place, looking athletic, looking like a thin Ozempic Ben Wallace, and that's where they dominated the Cavaliers tonight. Cavaliers added Ball. Watching him in real life, that's a lot of fun too, man, because that guy can ball. No pun intended. Didn't mean to do that.
Did a great job. They shifted the right way. They got the shooters the right way. Which resulted in Cleveland scoring 30 points in the paint tonight. And I thought that was huge for us. At the end of the day, we always talk about, hey, try to win the possession game, try to win the possession game, try to win the
OG was a monster, and I'm going to continue to say it. This guy can be a top 10 player in the NBA. Luel Deng plus.
10 rebounds. 24 points on 9 of 17, but he was our defensive player of the game. I think he had 6 or 7 deflections. He guarded a lot of different people, so we saw a lot of different types of players tonight, and he did a heck of a job, but he had 6 or 7 deflections.
With Bridges and OG, good luck getting to the hoop. And then when Mitchell Robinson comes back and then he gives you that top flight tier defense in your face, dude, I'm telling you, man, the only team that's going to beat the New York Knicks this season in the Eastern Conference is the New York Knicks.
I think he came up with 2 50-50 balls, and so just a heck of a job, especially defensively and rebounding-wise from OG. And same with Cat, 19 and 11. We needed every single one of those rebounds that those guys got. And then, you talk about a punch off the bench. We had a lot of good performances from guys off the bench, but obviously Deuce was good for us, not only defensively but offensively.
The New York Knicks played 11 guys tonight. Did you hear that, Tom Thibodeau? The New York Knicks played 11 guys tonight, and nobody was sucking for air at the end of the game. And the New York Knicks just made a statement win against the best team in the Eastern Conference last year. These Mike Brown New York Knicks look good, baby, and I'm here for it all. Let's go!
Start the second quarter. You had a stretch there where you had Clarkson, you had OG playing the big, and a bunch of smalls around. So what did you see from your combination?
I said this before. I truly believe this team is a deep team, and you give Leon Rose and his group a lot of credit for it. It's my job to keep trying to find combinations out on the floor that work, and just like they got a lot of room to grow, I got a lot of room to grow too, because I'm still learning.
Yeah, and just like I said, they're still gelling. They still got to find out who can play with who. Mike Brown's still finding out where his office is in MSG. This is the first game. The ink's not even dry on his contract, but I said it before on my preview show. Tom Thibodeau is the Buck Showalter of NBA head coaches. He's good at creating teams. The Bulls, the Timberwolves, the Nova Knicks. Now they need a closer. Brown's got a ring with LeBron James in Cleveland. And Mike Brown makes a statement win against his old team that he used to be a coach on. So this is what I'm talking about. You need to have guys in the building that have won before, that have done it before, and that's what Brown does for you, baby. Teaches you how to win, and this is going to be an excitement maturation of the young guys. Like I said, Kolek, McBride looks like he has more room, and he was killing it from three-point land tonight. And if he can be your sixth man or your sixth man off the bench, that's going to be a dangerous offensive Knicks team.
Learning them, And, the neat part about it is there are a lot of different ways I can go with it. And I can learn on the fly because we have guys that can play. And, I'd like to play a lot of guys. I don't know if I'll play 11 guys every night, but we'd like to play, as many.
Also, there is paralysis by analysis where you can have so many guys on the bench where you wind up trying to play everyone together and getting everybody time, but it takes away from the overall product. So it's going to be hard for Brown to find that balancing act. I can even refer back to the Yankees this year with their youth and their veterans and trying to get a mix of them in and getting enough people at bats where they can actually have a productive season. Now, you can't let guys collect dust on the bench in the NBA, and guys will get pissed really quick. But seeing the New York Knicks play 11 guys is music to my ears. You might have seen 7 guys during the regular season last year, so you're already up 3, and I think I'm giving Thibs a lot more credit. It was more like 6 guys.
As we can, and we want everybody to be ready in case their number's called at any time.
Mike, you talked a lot throughout the preseason about the process of generating your guys' looks, and
Yeah.
it felt like tonight you guys generated a lot of good looks, just some of them didn't fall.
Yeah.
How encouraging was it, though, that even when shots weren't falling throughout the game, that your guys kind of stuck with it and did let it?
Generating looks,
This is my favorite dentist hack to clean my
Defense or any other guys?
The reporter was just asking the Mike Brown, the head coach, about generating looks, and that's exactly what the New York Knicks did tonight. What I was talking about, the ball movement before, you could see it. It was 3 passes, then shoot. It wasn't come down the court, meander down the court, set up shop, isolation to Brunson. These guys were moving the ball, making the other defense work, which in turn will rest them and make their defense better on the other end. But I'm telling you, OG and Bridges' defense tonight, man, it was a sight to be seen.
It was huge because, when shots don't fall or you get a little stagnant, which is what happened to us at certain times, we kind of took our foot off the gas. We want to play fast all the time, just put pressure on them. And we took our foot off the gas, started walking the ball up, started walking into our actions, and it allowed Cleveland to sit in the passing lanes and zone up and do some other things. And so for us, once we got over that hurdle, we realized, hey, we got to keep trying to play the way we play. We were good. We had 21 sprays. We want to get to at least 20 a game where, we touch that paint, because anytime you touch paint, good teams, they have to do this. They got to protect the paint. But now those wide open shots happen, and I think we can even generate more. I think we can generate 25 to 27 a game because we have that many players, in my opinion, that are capable of shooting the ball.
I'll tell you this much, though. Tom Thibodeau must be eating his hat on his lazy boy right now, watching all these tools and all these goodies that Mike Brown gets to play with, while Tom Thibodeau was shopping at the dollar store and going through his seat cushions with change to find players. And Brown's like, I don't know how I'm going to get everybody in the game. We just got too much talent. I don't know what to do with all this talent. And Tom Thibodeau's like, eating his hat while he's eating a hungry man microwave dinner while he's giving all of our goddamn secrets to the Boston Celtics. What's up with that, Tim?
Snap, driving, and touching the paint and moving it on when they need to off of 2 feet.
What was this first experience like for you at the Garden? Winning your first game here as Knicks coach?
It's exciting. Again, I go back to this place is iconic, and just to know that this is our home court every night. Man, it blows my mind. Spike Lee came over and gave me a hug before the game. I was like, Spike, do you know who I am? And
All right, I think we pretty much got the whole gist. Mike Brown, first victory in Madison Square Garden, gets it right off the schneid, unlike Aaron Glenn in this town. Also, I'm just happy his name is Mike Brown and that we don't have another head coach named Aaron, that I have to do a post-game press conference and then I mess it up and have to reshoot everything. But guys, like I told you, the Knicks look good tonight. Everybody, you know what? It's all good. And now the Knicks pivot and look to Boston at home, the Celtics. Yes, they don't have Tatum, but they still have Brown and one of the best head coaches in the NBA. So that's going to be a tough game for the Knicks. Let's see how they rebound. Let's see the attitude after this big win. Let's see if there's an emotional letdown. Let's see if they can build on this as a young team. And I want you to build with me right here. New York Minute Sports. It's New York Sports for New York Nuts. And I'm going to be here with Hot Stove Baseball. We're going to have the Knicks postgame show after every single game. We got our New York Sports Talk show on Monday with Mike from Pudgy Boy Sports. Then we're going to have our Friday gambling extravaganza football show with Playoff Patty. And we're going to be talking Yanks, talking Giants, Jets, anything New York. We got you covered right here. New York Minute Sports. And remember, if you can't be good, be bad, baby. Bye.